Looks to whoa! Something happened over there. There was the trees. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. Today, I thought I would go over this crazy video of the Bigfoot creatures pulling up trees out of the frozen ground. This one is really bothering me, and it's been out for, well, over a month now. And I don't agree with some of the video reviews that are being put out there on YouTube. I don't usually knock on anyone or, try and get in these little arguments with people, but I definitely disagree with, a certain YouTuber. Should I mention the name? It doesn't really matter because, it's pretty obvious who it is. I will say I agree with Bigfoot Tony. But before I get 100 more messages about this video, I think it's important that I go over it. I have the video loaded up here in Adobe, and the first thing I wanted to say is that there's two versions of this footage floating around out there on the web. I actually put them here side by side so you can see that there is actually a huge difference in quality between the two videos. The one on the left, if we look at that one and the properties here, the image size is 720 by 1280. So it's a vertical video. It's essentially 720p resolution. If we go to the other one, the resolution is 202 by 360. It is significantly lower. It's really bad. And unfortunately, that's the version that's mostly floating around on YouTube. And it makes it harder to pick up some very important details that we're going to be going over here. First things first, when we look at the video, this wide shot here, you can see very easily, this is the first dead giveaway that this is not a Bigfoot. And I'm going to say right now that that's my stance, that this is not a Bigfoot. I am going along with the idea that this is a piece of logging machinery. This is clearly a logged out area. You can see there's piles of trees here. There's actually 4 of them. You can tell that this has been recently logged and these trees have been recently cut down because there is no snow on the branches. If these had been sitting here for a while, there would be fresh snow on them, but there's not, because when these pieces of machinery, the one we're going to be looking into mostly, the feller buncher, when they grab hold of a tree or multiple trees, it shakes the snow right off of them. There's so much force on those claws that you'll see it in the video. It even happens when this machine grabs hold of the trees. You can see it kicks up a bunch of snow and it shakes the snow off the tree. That's what happened to these trees here in the front. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is that in some other video reviews that you watch, they're assuming that this hilltop here, anything past this front slope, is flat ground. That's kind of what they're assuming. Either it's flat ground, or I've seen in a recent video that it's, almost a sheer cliff. Well, it could be any degree of slope, basically. In the recent video I watched, it was explaining, or trying to explain, how the feller buncher, how its arm would have had to be sticking straight up into the sky basically and grabbing these trees, fully stretched out, and causing it to potentially fall over and lose its balance, and it would be extremely dangerous. Well, that is not the case. You can see when you look at the far right of the frame here, you can see that it even slopes down there to the side, so it could be sloping down to any degree on the other side of this hill. This isn't just flat ground. We're out in the wilderness here. There could be any degree of slope behind this ridge. And also, because of that, I'm going to say that I believe that these trees that are being pulled up out of the ground, we're not seeing the whole tree. We're probably only seeing half of it, maybe even a third. I'm guessing it's more like the height of what we see here in this tall tree in the front. And I am assuming that this hill slopes down on the other side too, making it seem like, we're just seeing a smaller tree, when in reality, because of that slope, it's probably twice as high. And when you zoom in on the video where the creature is apparently pulling this tree up out of the ground, you don't actually see the bottom of the tree. There's claims being made that you see the root ball, but that's not the case. So you can see when the trees get picked up, it shakes all the snow off of it. This is actually the second bunch of trees that's getting picked up. When you watch the whole one, there's a first set of trees that gets picked up and moved to the side. And the second one here, a dead giveaway that it's a machine to me. This is the second dead giveaway. You can see that there was clearly something shiny reflecting sunlight for a second there. There was a glint of light, and then it happens again a bit lower right before it moves off. That is, you know, something man-made. That is something metallic, something on the arm or on the claws of this machine that is just out of sight, you know, probably just below this ridge, you know, that has got a hold of these trees, and, you know, that's that. It's not, you know, Bigfoot eye shine. It's not a portal opening up for a Bigfoot to walk through. And at this point here, whatever, you know, moved these trees stopped so abruptly that they really bend forward. There's a lot of momentum, so the top of the trees, you know, bend forward like that. If a creature had just picked those trees up out of the ground and then ran off with them and then stopped, if this was a creature, it probably would have fallen over. It would not be able to hold on to these trees. You know, despite how big we believe the Sasquatch to be, I don't think it'd be strong enough to do that. And I also, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think a Sasquatch would be strong enough to rip trees of this size out of the frozen ground. I don't think any living creature on this planet could do that. You know, even if it's 2 or 3 times bigger than a man. Pulling trees up like that out of the frozen ground would be pretty much impossible. The root systems of these trees are so incredibly strong that nothing, you know, other than a machine grabbing hold, you know, of these tree trunks with its claws and then using that saw that's built into the claw system to slice the bottom of the tree, that's the only way these trees are going to be removed from the ground, you know? The feller buncher doesn't yank them up out of the ground with the root system. We're not seeing a root system in this video. What we're seeing are 2 trees, not just one, being smushed together by these claws. And, you know, branches, you know, when they get pushed together like that, are going to be flinging out all over the place. Let's go to the frame where, you know, we have the creature, the shape of the creature that is reminiscent of, you know, what we think Bigfoot is right here. This frame. People are saying they can see like an elbow on the left and the arm sticking out on the right, and also like a leg with a knee on the right. And then the creature, you know, walks off with basically these 2 trees in one arm. But if you go frame by frame and you really watch it closely, the further along you go, the less and less it looks like a Bigfoot. Like now it doesn't look like a Bigfoot at all. Especially here. Now this actually looks like a branch here on the left. Right there. You know, when you have 2 trees like this being pressed together like that, these branches could spring out all over the place. And I think that's what we have here with the arm on the right. I honestly think it's just a branch. And if you look at some of these frames later on, you know, really doesn't look like a Bigfoot to me anymore. You know, that is one skinny Bigfoot, if that's what it is, you know. And like I said, from the snow on the ground here to the top of this tree, that's not how high the tree is. I guarantee you that tree is longer than that. But we're just seeing a part of it. We're not seeing the whole tree because there's most likely slope on the other side of this ridge. And we can't assume that it's just flat beyond that. We can't assume it's a cliff. Because there's a slope on the front, we can safely assume that there's more than likely some sort of slope on the back. And some people are saying like this here, this like darker mass is a root ball. I don't think so. It's probably just part of the tree. Could it be part of the machine, the feller buncher? I don't know. Why would a Bigfoot creature expend so much energy, burn so many calories doing something so silly like this? Pulling trees up out of the ground and making piles with them. Why would they do that? You know, it's hard enough surviving out in nature. They have to get their own food, you know, they have to kill animals, whatever. They have to maintain that caloric intake. Why would they be doing something so pointless like this? You know, especially when on the other side of the hill, there's 4 piles of trees just lying there. Why would they be pulling them out of the ground? If you're saying that this is a Bigfoot pulling these trees out of the ground for whatever reason, you're basically trying to say that, you know, they pulled these ones out too. It is completely pointless to be doing that. especially when there is a machine that has been made by people designed to do this exact job in this exact area, doing, exactly what we're seeing here. A feller buncher in this cut block, removing trees. It has already just previously done it with these trees out in the front. It's doing it off in the back. It's silly to say that it's Bigfoot. We got the metallic glint off the arm or the claws. We have these freshly cut trees. That is proof enough. And, in some of the videos I've seen, they're trying to say that, you can't hear the machinery in the background. You can't hear the saws cutting. You can't hear anything. Well, you can't hear anything. You can't even hear the trees hitting the ground. You can't hear the branches breaking, and you would be able to in real life. What's going on here is that these people that are filming, they're filming on a cell phone. And a cell phone has a microphone that it will adjust its gain level automatically. It doesn't have manual audio control. So what that microphone will do is it'll adjust itself automatically based on what sounds are closest to it. So these people filming, they're in a big truck probably, maybe a diesel truck. They're screaming and yelling. That microphone is going to adjust itself to that immediate surrounding. It's going to lower its gain levels to a point, where the audio isn't blown out, where it sounds reasonable. And it's going to basically silence anything in the distance. That's how automatic microphones work. So if these people are screaming and there's lots of immediate noise, very close to the microphone, those gain levels are going to drop, and it's going to restrict, distant audio recording. I bet you if these people shut the truck off, if they weren't yelling, if they were completely silent and just had the phone sitting there, the microphone in the phone would adjust its gain to like a higher level, and you'd be able to hear everything in the distance, That's what's going on there. There's no doubt about that. Also, we should probably talk about the length of the clip. If this is actually happening, if Sasquatch is ripping trees out of the ground and moving them off, that would be such an incredible sight. I would have, been recording for quite a bit longer, and the camera mysteriously shuts off or cuts, as it points to the interior of the truck. I'm sure they filmed more, but when they uploaded this video, they cut it off right there. Just at the point where it leaves it to be this big mystery. I bet you if they kept filming there, which they probably did, there would be clear evidence that this is a machine and not a living being. The clip is just long enough and shows just enough to be a mystery. But you guys know that if you were out there filming this, you would have filmed a lot more. So would I. So, I don't know. It seems like it cut just at the perfect spot. And I've seen these machines in action before on the fire line. We would fight a lot of fires out near Whitecourt that would be in cut blocks because these logging companies would go in and, they would burn. They would make these piles of stuff that they weren't going to keep, and they would burn them. And those fires would, more often than not get away from them. And we'd be working in really close proximity with these machines. So I've seen them in action before. They're very impressive. They do exactly what you see here. That metallic glint, that is there. When you watch the lower quality video, it's really hard to see. But in this original version, it's quite easy to see. So I don't know, I don't usually knock on other people's videos, but there are some reviews out there I've seen that make me shake my head because I know that this is not a Bigfoot. The evidence against it being a Bigfoot is way greater than the evidence, supporting the Bigfoot theory. Because there is, like I said, that machine out there, the feller buncher, that is specifically designed to do exactly this, and it has just done it in front of this slope. It has cut these trees and made piles of them. Sasquatch didn't do that. Sasquatch is not doing it behind the slope. It's the same thing going on. The ground, on the other side of this ridge is definitely sloping downwards, most likely, because you can even see, if you look off to the right, it even sloped down there. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. So you can take, this video and make of it what you will. I just want you guys to be diligent with this stuff, because it's not always going to be Bigfoot, and more often than not, it's going to be a hoax or misidentification. But there's so many other different pieces of Bigfoot video evidence that are better than this. We even have the Patterson footage, which is the ultimate piece of video evidence. And it's not good enough. and it won't ever be. So why, you know, make a claim that this is Bigfoot when this is, you know, nowhere near as great as the Patterson footage? And to make a claim that this couldn't be anything other than a bipedal being, whether it be a Sasquatch or a human, is absolutely insane. But that's all I got for this video. Thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, check out the Patreon page or the Spreadshirt t-shirt shop. I have links to both of those pages down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Mountain Beast Mysteries.